I am still waiting to be wowed, but until then, this will do. Hello everyone, my name is Max Aaron James. This here is a review of the movie Good Fortune, written and directed by Aziz Ansari. This movie follows Arj, played by Aziz Ansari, who is down on his luck, and like many of us in America, like most Americans probably, is living paycheck to paycheck, is just trying to get by, just trying to live to see the next week. Arj is taking on gigs and side jobs using one of the apps that offers different jobs, tasks that people need to get done. And he's struggling. He's living out of his car. He's working another job at a hardware store with Elena, played by Kiki Palmer. And he's a bit hopeless. He feels that his life is not worth living. He is on the edge and at the point of potentially taking his life. And so an angel comes in. We have Gabriel, played by Keanu Reeves. Gabriel is trying to show Arj that his life has meaning and that Arj's life has purpose. And so he allows Arj to live the life of Jeff, a mogul multimillionaire, potentially a billionaire, played by Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen has all this money, owns multiple companies. He's part of a VC firm and invests in different companies, so he owns partial share from them, of course gets profits from those. And he's living life pretty good. He big on plunges, meditation, dances. He goes to meetings and barely seems to put any effort into it. Arj is now living that life while Jeff is living the life of Arj, of just getting by, living out of his car, living at a motel, taking on side jobs. And Arj is living this millionaire, multimillionaire lifestyle, not really worrying about anything, traveling where he wants, eating, drinking, doing what he pleases when he pleases at any time of the day, and finds out that this is the life that he really wants. And now it becomes a conundrum because Gabriel wanted to show him that his life, that this multimillionaire life is not all it's cracked up to be, but it ends up resolving most of Arj's issues, which I would say is the case for a lot of people. Of course, they say money doesn't give you happiness, but a lot of the issues and a lot of the stresses that come into everyday life for most people, or a lot of people at least, in a capitalist world such as America, is that there is so much effort needing to be put in just to live to see another day. And I would say this movie is pretty entertaining. I had fun. I laughed more than I expected to. I mean, the cast, for the most part, I really enjoy. I mean, I don't have any issues with most of these people with their performances in the past. So seeing them all here together is really nice. These are all charismatic people, people that I would like to sit down with and I feel I would have a lot of fun with. Now, my issue comes into where what you end up getting for most of this movie, they try to deliver a different message at the end, and I feel that's a difficult message to bring, to deliver, especially given what's going on now in our country and the struggles that so many people have. Now, I'm going to give a minor spoiler by saying what the message or what the theme is, but I just want you to know, if you don't want to hear the spoilers, that this movie, 90% of it is very much enjoyable and entertaining. I would even say 95%. I don't necessarily have an issue with the overall ending, just the message that it was trying to present. And that's where I was kind of like, it's much easier said than to actually live it. You can tell that this was clearly written by people that have made it. Now, here's the minor spoiler, which is saying the message. Just because you have wealth doesn't mean that your problems that you didn't have before wealth completely disappear. I didn't word that correctly. Gabriel tries to tell Arj that even though he was struggling and most of his stresses in his life had to do with lack of money, living in his car, barely being able to afford food, barely being able to afford to take someone out on a date, because we have this romance with Elena, that his life without the money is still fine. There was no reason for Arj to really give his life back to Jeff, to give this multimillionaire life back to Jeff, especially when it's corrected so many of his issues. Of course, it's selfish and it's wrong to take away someone else's life, we could argue that most people would probably stick with that life either way, even if the other person knew that their life was once that. And they tried to make Jeff, played by Seth Rogen, not entirely a bad person, even though he's wealthy and very much privileged and lives his privileged lifestyle and has almost anything many people would dream of wanting and having. They try to make him come off as a conscious person, socially conscious and aware and wanting to help people, but intent does not always equate to outcome or actual impact. And so it felt weak and underwhelming what they tried to have Jeff do at the end. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I had fun with it. I'd recommend you go watch it. I think you should support it, especially because looking at the trailers and looking at the trailers of prior movies I've watched recently, a lot of white people. Until next time, y'all take care of each other, check up on one another, make sure you check up on yourself, and remember, potential has no limit.